welcome to the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show, hosted by me, yours truly, Jeffrey Bellomo, where we discuss all things estate planning and elder law, and well, hey, anything else we want to talk about. Now, today's going to be a little bit of some estate planning and elder law, maybe a little bit of real estate, so this might fall under and anything else we want to talk about today. We'll have to check it out. I have a good friend of mine, Andrew Bartlett, here with me today for our podcast. Andrew, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Well. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. I've been looking forward to this one ever since the boot camp. So This should be a lot of fun here today. I just want to do a quick disclaimer for my listeners. As usual, please do not take what you hear from this show or any other show for that matter to constitute legal advice. If you are looking for legal advice, please contact an attorney licensed in the state that you reside in who practices law in the area that you are looking for advice in. And after you meet with them and they give you advice specific to your situation, then and only then should you constitute that to be legal advice. This show, and any other show for that matter, should be used for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. And sure, maybe you'll learn a few things along the way, but that does not constitute legal advice that you should rely on to make decisions. At Bellomo Associates, we educate so that what happened to my family doesn't happen to yours. If you are looking for educational advice or information in the areas of estate planning, in the pre-planning context, meaning we're going to plan ahead. We're going to plan ahead for powers of attorney, last will and testaments, revocable trust, asset protection trust, and all of the other ancillary documents that come with estate planning. Please check our estate planning workshop out. If you're looking for advice in crisis Medicaid planning, you or a loved one is going to need skilled care in the home or in a nursing home within the next maybe 6 months to a year, check out that workshop. We also offer life care planning workshops from our licensed social workers at Bellomo Associates. We have social workers on our team to assist your family through all the complexities of life, to navigate how do you make a house safe for a loved one to stay in the home? Is it time for them to maybe look for another level of care? Is it time to bring skilled care in or transfer to a skilled facility? Our social workers on our team will be able to navigate through those complexities of life that are certainly beyond my little brain as an attorney. There is no question about that. We also have special needs planning for individuals with loved ones who have special needs, and the receipt of money could disqualify them for government benefits, as well as post-death administration. In a case where a loved one passes away, how do you make sure that those assets get administered correctly and appropriately to the loved ones that they're supposed to go to? So we offer those workshops on a regular basis. Please feel free to give us a call at Bellomo Associates, 717-845-5390, or check us out on the web at www.bellomoassociates.com. That's B as in boy, ELLOMO, associates spelled out with an S.com. All right. So, Andrew, introduce yourself to our listeners. Tell them who you are and what you do, my man.
All right. I am Andrew Bartlett. I own Bartlett Associates Real Estate under the Keller Williams umbrella. So I've been selling real estate for a long time, and we do some other cool things with downsizing and senior communities.
Sweet. We'll definitely get into that. What got you into real estate? I'd like to start with the most obvious question first.
I started out in marketing after college and was in marketing for a while. Then had my own business where I was minority owner. Got married, wanted to move back to Lancaster, so sold my shares in the business, and then didn't want to work for the man again like I had. So I was exploring different avenues and decided to get my real estate license.
Oh, wow. Okay. And
Yep.
real estate is something that interested you? Like, there's a lot of businesses
Yes.
you could have gone into, so.
Yes, it was. I loved all aspects of real estate just because there's so much you can sell real estate, you can invest in real estate, know what I mean, rentals, flips. There's so much you can do in real estate that, yeah, it just interests me. I knew I wanted to get into it, just didn't know the avenue. At first I thought I wanted to own a brokerage or something like that, but now it's taken me many different paths, and I've kind of touched on all of them right now.
Oh, do you? Okay. So,
Yeah.
so talk a little bit about how about your favorite things that you get to do in real estate?
Well, Obviously, I like helping people a lot. I think that's what else. Actually, that's actually a big reason I got in. When I bought my first house, I had a terrible experience.
Oh,
Um, so the person wasn't there. I was 25, didn't know what I was doing, was completely confused. The agent didn't show up to settlement, didn't help me with like inspections. I just didn't know anything. And then I later looked it up and like see her driving her Mercedes, and I'm just like, if she can do that, I can do that, and I can do that way better and make sure people actually know what they're doing. And I continued to see the gap when I got into real estate. They're just, again, people are out for the paycheck quick. That's why I have a team now, because there's always someone on my team helping that person during the transaction, so they don't ever feel like I felt, where they're on their own during this huge purchase, or maybe their first time or selling their home that they've owned for 40 years.
oh wow! And do you have a favorite type of buyer? I mean, in terms of, I don't know, not specialties, but just kind of, oh yeah, I love working with.
Uh, Again, everyone, but again, we've kind of moved into helping seniors and people downsize, just again because we saw a hole there where they have 40 years of stuff, they don't know what to do with it. Some people can't afford to move into their new assisted living, senior living, wherever they're going without selling their house. So we saw a gap there as well, and we kind of help guide them through that whole process so they can get in.
So do me a favor. I kind of have a little bit of an idea because we did talk. For a listener listening for the first time, when you say kind of we do everything for somebody who's transitioning maybe into a community, can you tell them what that means and what kind of services you do offer?
Yeah, so we offer downsides like the move, get rid of, again, we don't want to call it junk, but some people have had stuff in their basement for 40 years. So we have people that can come help get all of that out. You don't know what to do. We have organizers, know what I mean, to go through what you're taking next place, what you're not, if it needs painted. We also have, because sometimes we have instances where somebody might have fallen, like where they should have been in. You were trying to get your mother or father into the community for a while. And again, it happens a lot where they really want to stay in their home, but then something medically happens. They need to get in. And now it's like, crap, we need the money right now, so they can get into this place. So we offer two things. One, a cash program. And again, it's not always going to be the most money, but it's still going to be a very good offer. And it can get you your money in 2 weeks, so you can help with mom's medical bills and get her into the facility afterwards. And then the second thing is our actual next step program is where we provide a interest-free bridge loan. So you have small money to start paying for the facility, while we prep to get the house sold and everything.
And I assume, is that just personal care or is it any type of transition to care? Or
It's any type of transition
okay,
towards care when it's needed. All right, there's obviously guidelines around it and stuff, but it's much more lenient than going through any bank to get a loan or something like that, because our goal is again to help you get into that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And as far as the move itself, the physical move, do you have in-house movers or do you outsource to an outside
We
company? And
we out it's the same company we always work with, but yes, we outsource, and they help us, and they know the program, and they know everything. So it's one little package altogether. No, I don't
that's
have 20
cool.
movers and that, but we have the same cleaning person, all that helps come through. Every painters, like whatever you need, we have.
That's actually what I was thinking in my head was,
Yeah.
holy cow, my next question is going to be how many people do you have on your team? Like,
Yeah, yeah, no. So they're all part of it and know what's going on, but they're not actually on staff. Some are. Like you'll hear from a lot of them all the time coordinating and stuff, but we
yep.
contract out a lot of it. And that's another part of the program too. We'll help you if like mother's in good shape, or let's say the children inherited the estate and they're like, we want to try and get the most money possible for this, and they're not even, no one's moving into a community. We'll help you with all our contractors, fix it up, tell you what to do, so you can essentially flip it yourself with your family and get the most money out of the house. Or again, you're a kid and your parents' house is 20 states away from you. You can just say, if we get this X amount of money for it, then we're going to take it, and we can help with that too.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
And most of your people that you work with, are they coming from existing clients or are they coming from facilities who know that you offer this service?
Yeah, all the above.
Both.
Some
Yeah.
existing clients help because we saw a need there too. Again, early in my career, I'm working with someone senior moving into a retirement community, and they're like, can you help us do all this stuff? And I'm like, I can recommend a mover and a cleaning lady, but like, I know what I mean. I didn't have the rest. So I started seeing the need a lot. So started building out the program. And then, yeah, the other aspect was a lot of people said they wanted to move, but they couldn't get to where they wanted to go
Mm.
before they had the money from the house. And again, there's lender options when people are moving from one house to another, like bridge loans, but there was never really an option if you're
No.
moving from a house into a community. So they were always stuck in that situation. So that's where the need came up too.
Now, are you funding that personally, or do you have outside sources that are funding that for
I
you?
I fund that personally. Well, the Next
Wow.
Step program, yeah.
Right,
So
right,
we
right.
fund that.
Understood.
Yes. So we fund that personally. Again, we use the real estate as collateral and stuff, but yeah,
Right.
it's an easy way that they can get in with an interest-free loan. Again, we're not giving them $200,000 to move in. We're getting like their moving
Yeah.
costs and their first month's rent and like the down payment that they need, the deposit they need to get into the facility.
Oh, that's incredible. What a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever heard of anyone doing that. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's what, again, it was just, again, through, I know people at some of the senior facilities as well, and we just kept seeing that problem as well, where like Betty came through this week and really wants to get in, but she has to sell her house first, and she's in a wheelchair. Know what I mean? Like, she has no idea what to do. It's going to be a while before she can figure this out. So we try to make the process as smooth and as quick as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I know I go into homes very rarely as far as, especially from that context, but
Yeah.
do you find that people who have lived in their home for a while who are now transitioning, that there is a lot of work, a lot of things that need to be done? Now, whether they have you do it or they do it themselves, I mean, is that generally the kind of thing that you're finding or not always?
So what we like, we never want like, again, we'll use Betty. We never
Okay.
want Betty to be like, all right, you can move in even if she's not taking the Next Step program and loan. We don't want to be like, you're going to rip out your carpet, you're going to paint. We want you to remodel the kitchen to get it ready for sale. We're going
Okay.
to shine it. We're going to make sure that again the carpets aren't stained and there's aren't holes in the wall and get it cosmetically nice and get it
Right.
cleared out and presentable, but we also don't want our clients spending a ton of money
Right.
before they move into a facility, so we'll get it cleared and ready to show and take pictures, but we're not going to have them do a ton of stuff. Again, there is that option if like the estate wanted to do that, but most of the time we find it easiest, let's just shine it in its best light, maybe do some landscaping, get it on the market and get it sold for you.
Yeah, and I love that you have all those contacts because for people not familiar with it, or for, as you mentioned, out of town children, man, finding reputable people that you trust, not being necessarily from the area, or maybe you are from the area, but you're just
Yeah.
not in the market all the time. That there's no way you would know whether somebody was good or not. I mean,
Exactly. You can't even get contractors to show up that you do know sometimes. Not mine, but like I've experienced that in the
right.
industry where you have a contract, you call them, they're backed up 3 months and stuff like that. Like my contractors know that if this is a need, they'll get out there quickly because
Yeah.
they know it's urgent.
So in a very different context, but I had a client today that was talking about working with a company, and I said, yeah, no problem. I'll give them a call, and they'll be out. And they're like, no, I called all around. It's 8 weeks. I said, no, don't worry about it. When you work with somebody a lot and they know that
Yeah.
you're the referral source, of course they're going to drop. I mean,
Yeah.
they know that you're going to give them a lot more than one single client who may never call them back again. It's consistent, and it's nice to have those relationships because then you're able to kind of leverage them, and it worked out exactly as I anticipated that it would, and they were able to take care of it. The client called me back and
Perfect.
said, I don't know how you pulled that off. I said, I didn't pull
Yeah.
anything off. I just
Yeah.
work with people that we work with on a regular basis. So
Exactly. And good
yeah,
people. Yep.
yeah, that's
Exactly
great.
right.
That's
Yep.
great. Now, do you? I mean, maybe this is an ancillary or just a personal preference, but what do you do in the situation where people are looking and they're looking at different communities, for example? I assume that you're not an expert on the different personal care homes and facilities in the area. So do you refer that out as well to say, hey, you could talk to someone, or is that an area where it's not necessarily an easy referral? I've always wondered that.
So as far as if I talk to them first, then they're like, we're looking to move into a community. Do you have any recommendations? I will always say places that I've worked with, but also mention that it's a small, like anything, like
Yeah.
lawyers, real estate, it's a small smidgen based on the
Yeah.
whole community. So do your own research. And again, I'm happy to give you some other contacts. But yeah, most of the time I leave that part alone. And honestly, most of the time they've at least started looking. I will
Yeah.
recommend though,
Yeah.
if they're like, we're going to a place and it's 20 grand a month and they can't afford it, and I'll be like, have you checked out these options? They're a little
Right.
more affordable. So that is
Yeah.
one thing.
That was one of the reasons that for us internally, we ended up looking into the life care planning and into getting social workers on the team. Is I was getting questions all the time, and I was like, dude, I have no idea. Like, is your house safe? I don't know. How would we, make it safe for? I don't know. Is it time for mom to
Yeah.
go? I don't know. And I got embarrassed almost where I think people think that as the lawyer you should know everything. Well, obviously that's not true. And I was like, I really need to figure out how I can be comfortable, which is really outside of my skill set. As you mentioned, no,
Mm-hmm.
you don't necessarily know those. So while even my team doesn't necessarily know every place, they know what to look for. They kind of know the questions to ask. They know how to compare. And I'm like, I have no clue. Like you would not want me walking through with you because I wouldn't even know the question. So that's great that we kind of both know our places and know where we need to stay the heck out of. So
Exactly. And we have people such as yourself and other reliable partners that, again, we can point them to, again, when I don't know if it's an estate question, money, know what I mean,
right.
finances, will we pay tax? I know something, but I'm not an attorney or an accountant, so I'm going to refer you to the proper people so we can make sure that's all correct during the move, too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you have those types of relationships as well. And yeah,
Yep,
that's
exactly.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny when so we met Andrew and I met based upon a personal care home that we both kind of work with pretty closely, and they introduced him to us and to our team, and we then kind of hooked up and started talking and finding ways to kind of be able to work together and do things together. And our boot camp that we had, I know that my listeners know about that. I did a podcast recently on the boot camp, and wonderful things that came from it. And he was one of the sponsors, so I do want to thank Andrew for doing that. As I've mentioned, I had a great idea 15 years ago. Never imagined the cost, the amount of hours and time that goes into free professional credits for professionals. So it would not happen. I mean that. So I
Yeah.
really can't thank you enough, and you really stepped up. So that was definitely greatly appreciated. And I remember you being in the room, and it was nice to have you there. And I guess that was probably your first real taste of me in terms of presenting in front of a room of 100
Yeah.
people, right?
You
Yeah.
were great. You made something that could be a little dry, entertaining. So no, it
Yeah.
was good. It was a ton of information, but yeah, it was super helpful. A lot of questions. That's what I even referred my sister and brother-in-law and my parents to come to one of them afterwards on one of your things. So no, it's a ton of great info.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We enjoy it, and we're looking forward to the fall here. We have one coming up in the fall. So we
Nice.
backed them off to 2 times a year. We were doing 4 a year, and
Oh man,
it was just too much
it's a lot.
coordination and frankly too much money, to be completely frank.
Yeah.
It really is an expensive endeavor. So and time consuming for sure. So
No, I
yeah, I just
bet.
did want to make sure I thanked you publicly
Yeah.
here. It's
No, I appreciate being a part of it.
yeah, not doable without those kind of things. So was there anything that day that surprised you or that was different than what you expected? I never got a chance to kind of talk to you or debrief the boot camp. Was there anything that you remember stood out for you?
I'm trying to think. It was a ton of information. I think just the
Yes.
estate stuff, just again, I deal with a ton of real estate and just like not just throwing a family member on the deed or something if you want them
Yeah.
to inherit it and put it in trust and protect it. Like all that stuff really hit home just because, again, I deal with that a lot and you never know what to do in certain situations. And it just reinforces the fact that they need to talk to someone like you. Like I have a
Yeah.
general idea, but they need to talk to someone like you and actually um, shield their money, assets, and everything in that type of way. And again, that's why I think everyone can relate to it in some way. That's what I instantly called my sister because her and my brother-in-law are going through the same thing right now about to inherit a big property. I was like, you have to talk to them before you do anything. Like, I know what you can do with the property afterwards to make money, but I want to make sure nothing happens during that period.
Yeah, it is so funny. Obviously, you and I did not talk about this before the podcast today, but It is one of the things that I've learned about the boot camps over the last 15 years is, we have people in the room who are real estate agents, who are insurance agents, financial professionals, financial advisors, certified public accountants, all kinds of accounting, different people, tax people, healthcare professionals. And what is so neat about it is you latched on to kind of what I focus on. If I think to myself, all right, if I had real estate people in the room, what do I want to make sure that I say that they'll go, ooh, wow, maybe I knew some of it, maybe I didn't know all of it, but boy, that is exactly sort of the point that I kind of try to hit home that day is it's so easy to just tell someone, add the kid's name to the deed or put it in the kid's name or put a life estate on there or, whatever. I mean, I'm making stuff up here, but every one of them has a purpose. And then every one of them also has but if this happens, this is the consequence. And they're like, oh crap, I had no idea. So it is funny that you said that. When I have funeral directors in the room, they latch on to certain things and the healthcare. So that's why it's fun. And we ended up making it all one professional because we used to separate them out and it just became way too dry.
That's
when you have one person. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's
no,
ridiculous.
because most I could latch on to after lunch and when you started talking about Medicaid and Medicare, I didn't know much about that. So that was getting, but yes, I'm sure same thing when you're talking about the real estate port, but in all, you pick up nuggets in each section. So it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah,
very good, very good. So if the listeners are sitting out there today listening to this and they wanted to touch base with you, whether mom is, potentially transitioning out of the home or into a personal care home, how would they find you? How would they reach out to you?
All right. So we have nextstep.care, and that's kind of our downsizing program, helping with the loan to get them in and everything. And then we also just have lancorealestate.com, and that's Lancaster, like Lancaster County, lancorealestate.com. And we do all real estate services. Again, we're a full service team though, and that's kind of the point. Just like we make it easy to downsize, that's how we make the whole transaction though. Whether you're downsizing or you're moving into a new house, moving out of state, that's what we thrive on doing.
And do you also, I think you might have mentioned it earlier, but just for clarity's sake, if somebody really just doesn't want to be bothered, are you willing to kind of buy a place, fix it up yourself, and then flip it yourself?
Yeah, so that we do that, and we have investors. That's kind of the point too. Again, you're out of state. Maybe you bought a rental property and then moved out of state, and you're like, I just want to get rid of this at a good price. Again, we're going to be honest. We're going to show you, here's what a fixed up house looks like that the flipper or investor is going to sell it for. Here's what regular price is, and then here's what the cash is. But again, most of the time you're not paying a commission or any fees when you're paying that cash price. So sometimes it evens out too, but it's just quick and get it off your plate.
Yeah, and you'll just kind of go through all those options and let the client kind of decide, a customer decide what's best for them.
Exactly. We're super transparent, again, through the whole move and with the cash options and stuff too.
Yeah, and I know the real estate market changes, bad joke here, but I change my underwear. So I'm always hesitant to ask these kind of questions, but what are you seeing right now in the market? What is kind of the feel right now?
So it's kind of a wild market, kind of like the stock market and everything else. It's weird. It goes in waves just like that. So one, it is still a seller's market because we don't have the inventory. So even though rates are super high, yes, there's less buyers out there, but if it's the right house in the right neighborhood, we're still getting multiple offers. So it's still crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're still seeing that. Yeah, we had an open house at 12 o'clock on a Thursday, and we had 30 people through it. It was random. Yeah, so there's still that, because again, right neighborhood, it had a pool, know what I mean? It was done right. Yeah. But then there'll be something about tariff wars, and I'll throw a townhome on that's beautiful, and think it's going to go, and it sits for a couple weeks. Again, nothing's sitting for 2 months. You don't need to worry about, but it is super strange because it's going with the news right now. And if they talk about rates increasing or something, it might slow. But overall, it's still a very strong seller's market. Just fewer buyers in because of interest rates right now.
Okay, and pretty low inventory, did you say?
Yeah, low inventory. So
gotcha.
We're still at so that. It doesn't matter that rates are high because there's still no home. There's still more people that want homes. that can't get into them. So even though rates are high, people still are buying. So
Wow. Now I
yeah,
realize that could change next week. I totally acknowledge that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was just curious. I love to kind of get a barometer of, you know, for somebody who's not in it, you don't pay attention when you're not in the market and you don't do it for a living. So,
Exactly. And I'm not a mortgage broker, but that's what I'm saying. So rates hover right around 7, and they have been. When they're really good, they'll drop down below 7, and that's where we get a little more activity. And then when it gets bad, something happens, they go above 7, and then that's where you see the changes. So again, not saying what the rates are today and stuff, but that's kind of what the
yeah.
world looks like in terms of news. And then you see the fluctuating, and then you see, um, again, the different markets happening.
Well, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So, is there anything else about the your business, Next Step, or Lenco, you know, real estate and those kind of things that you want to chat about? I'm watching the time here and I'm realizing, ooh, I need to wind it up. I
Oh
kind of
yeah,
figured that would
no.
happen, but
No, just that we also have a nonprofit. Again, we don't even
oh
need
yeah.
people to donate to it, but if they have anyone in need, it helps people that are in need of quick need. That sounds weird, but they're in need of something. So most of the time, again, we've helped like a mother that's been in a terrible relationship that had to get out of the house, so we paid for the hotel room for 2 weeks so she could get out of the situation.
Oh wow.
Again, same situation. We found a lot of need because we started gearing it towards kids, but it ended up being more towards families and stuff. So again, someone can't afford groceries like that. So then we go and we give them a gift card or something to a grocery store so they can get it. Again, these aren't like huge things, but we've helped with rent. We've helped pay heating bills. It's more stuff when some of the bigger charities are like, all right, you need to go through our program and it might be 2 months before you get anything. We can help immediately, really quick until they get maybe the larger funding from someone.
And what is the name of that?
That is the HCB Foundation letters.
Oh,
Yes.
very cool. Nice.
Yes.
I didn't know about that. That is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we like to just say because if you have anyone that needs that quick need and is not getting what they need, I'm using need a lot,
Yeah.
they can get that. So
All right, and one more time, how listeners could find you, either reaching out via phone or on the web.
yeah, so my personal cell phone 717-203-5528, and then again it's lancorealestate.com or nextstep.care for either of the programs.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for spending this time with me. I knew this was going to go fast. There was no
Yeah.
question in my mind. Thank you to my listeners for attending the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show. I hope you enjoyed my special guest today, Andrew Bartlett, and I look forward to seeing all of you. And until the next time, we'll see you real soon.